Good morning, survivors. It's Angie, Atkinson, and today we are going to talk about 10 ways that narcissists live in their own little worlds. All right? They kind of live in a made-up world. You know what I'm talking about? Are you ready? Let's do it. Number one, they tell lies about everything. Yesterday we talked about, Saturday we talked about the top 10 big fat lies narcissists tell everybody, and especially their supply. So, yeah. Telling lies. That's number one. Number two, they expect you, their supply, to go along with all their lies and to agree with all the lies and to follow, if you were to call them out while they're lying to someone else, they're going to have a real serious problem with you and you're probably going to fight about it. Whether this is your narcissist husband, wife, parent, child, well, not child as much, but husband, wife, sister, brother, mother, whatever, you're going to end up finding yourself expected to tell lies, and if you don't, you're going to be a real problem person. Go along with the lies, and if you don't, you'll fight. You know what I'm talking about? Number three, not only do they lie and expect you to lie, but they also expect that, they actually believe their own lies. Narcissists believe their own lies, and they believe them so hard that they get offended if anyone tries to call them out on it. For example, let's say you have a narcissist woman who has been married 4 times and who, at some point in her life decided, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to become a minister. And, she goes through, she becomes a minister, does all this stuff. And now she doesn't want anybody to know she's been married 4 times. And so she pretends that, this is her first husband, and she pretends that all of these things, that her children are his children and so on and so forth. And in reality, maybe she's got 4 kids by 4 different baby daddies. But she feels ashamed of it, and so she pretends otherwise. And when the children try to acknowledge their true selves or true heritage, she has a real problem with that. Interesting, right? Good example. Next up, they think they're more important than everybody else. A lot of times narcissists see themselves as so important and so special that other people can't possibly measure up to their level of special and amazing. And then they will only, hang around with people that they consider on their level, who are usually people who are either, wealthier than they are, or maybe people, so there's a lot of narcissism and toxic abuse happening in certain churches, certain, religious settings sometimes offer a real easy way for for a narcissist to actually spew poison all over the place, because they can, use this Bible or this whatever book their religion is into and say, this book says you're wrong, and so therefore I have a right to judge you. See? So narcissists will use anything in their power to judge people harshly and to judge themselves as more important or better than everyone else. They have a huge sense of entitlement. Narcissists are famous for expecting more than they might think they deserve, or more than anyone else thinks they deserve, and if they don't get it, they're also famous for acting like complete jerks to the people who who they see as preventing them from getting what they're entitled to, whether that's attention or money or special favors or treatment or sex or whatever. They think they're entitled. They pretend to have skills and prowess and things that they really don't always have, or that they don't have as effectively as they think. For example, a lot of narcissists will, one narcissist might say, I'm a marathon runner, but they haven't run a marathon ever, but they intend to one day. Or they might say, I'm a computer genius, and then when you call them and say, hey man, computer genius, can you help me fix my shit? They say, I'm really busy, I don't really have time for that, but, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of times what it comes down to is that they're not what they say they are, but when they're called out and asked to display the amazing skills that they claim to have, they are suddenly too busy or too mad or too whatever. They start a fight, they start they have a big dramatic moment in their life where they can't possibly do anything for anyone else, whatever it takes to hide the truth from themselves and everyone else. They project their bad behavior onto their targets or other people around them. For example, they will have no problem with telling a friend all of the things that are wrong with them and how they so seriously negatively affected the narcissist's life. In no uncertain terms, often they're brutally honest with other people in ways that are very painful. But then when it comes to themselves, you can't even blink an eyelash at them the wrong way because they're so sensitive and so overwrought by emotion, and they can't stand the idea of being confronted with anything other than, oh my God, you're so amazing. You see what I'm saying? Yep. They're constantly playing mind games with people they claim to love and people they don't care about at all. But it seems like the worst of their behavior, it's like they treat strangers better than they treat people that they claim to love. And that is incredibly frustrating for the people they love, and probably part of the or people they claim to love, because I don't really know that a narcissist is capable of actual love. But when they claim to be in love with someone, they tend to, over time, start treating them worse than anyone else in their lives. And the same thing happens with narcissistic parents and narcissistic bosses and everything else. They find a target and they start to poke at them, and when it comes to narcissistic parents, a lot of times they will have a golden child if they have more than one, and then they'll have a scapegoat child. And this can be in various combinations and iterations, but what it comes down to is that a narcissist can never ever accept responsibility for his or her own behavior, and whoever their scapegoat is, whether it's their wife or their husband or their child or whoever, they inevitably torture that person. And so part of the reason that this, they're living in a fantasy world because they're so busy, making sure everything is their way, that they're not taking into account the damage they're causing to other people. And even if they were, they wouldn't care because they don't have the ability to have empathy for anyone but themselves. And going right along with the whole, lack of empathy and need for, to be above people and sense of entitlement comes the need to be admired. Narcissists live in this fantasy world where they feel that they deserve constant admiration and love and positive treatment, but they don't think that they owe that to anyone else. So they will treat people horribly and expect those same people to be sweet and loving to them all the time. And it just doesn't work that way. That's another way they live in a fantasy world, right? And we can't forget the grandiosity of it all. Narcissists have grandiose fantasies about their lives and themselves in general. They live in a literal fantasy world where they have made up what it all means in their heads. They have a twisted understanding of how human nature works, if they have any understanding at all. And anytime they do display any sort of actual nod that appears to make them, any sort of thing that makes them appear human, more so than other times, it's usually only in an effort to get what they want from someone and manipulate someone. They hardly ever do anything without expecting some sort of return. So if you think about it, if a narcissist has helped you out of a hard situation ever, or has given you something that made your life easier, inevitably there's always some sort of backlash from that, and they expect something from you in order to get it. For example, say a narcissistic father, finds out that his daughter needs a down payment on a house, and he's like, fine, here's your down payment, but now you have to come to my house, every night and cook me dinner for a year, or whatever. And, inevitably, they only help people, even those closest to them, to get something back from them. So that's another way. So that's my vlog for today. What do you think? What would you add? What are some other ways that narcissists live in their own little fantasy world? Let's talk about it. Share your thoughts and your beliefs in the comments below. And I'll be back later today with another video. Thank you for letting me be part of your life today and part of your recovery. Have a great weekend. And, it's the week in some places, but here in the United States right now, we're still on our long weekend. So today is Labor Day. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.